Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please ensure to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the bell notification in the top right-hand corner to be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. All right, let's craft together. Hey guys, I am going to be showing you today how to do the power wash spray on just a 12-ounce cup or bottle that I have actually spray painted white. It was initially stainless steel. So I am going to be placing a decal on the front. So I'm going to kind of leave this area open for my decal, but then I'm going to put power wash in the other areas, and then I'm going to spray paint red on top of it just to see what we get here. So just want to make sure my red is going to spray with no issues, because I've had some issues with my white and my metallic acting up on me. So all right, so I'm going to use the power wash first, and then wherever I spray the power wash, I'm going to be adding some red so that it'll get inside the areas where the power wash didn't touch, so that it'll give it like a nice design on the bottle. So then I'm gonna wash it. So I'll pause the video. I'll take you in the kitchen with me because I don't have a water hose, and then we'll finish the process up. So I'm gonna use the power wash first. So I'm just gonna spray, you know, a couple of little hints around the area here. So I should have put my or used my big bottle. All right, so I got the power wash on. Now I'm going to spray paint it. And this is what it looks like. So I'm going to take it in, and I'm going to wash it so you can see the finished product. So I'm going to pause you a little chance to dry, and then I'll kind of wipe it off. But I think the design is going to turn out really, really pretty. So where you see the little splotches of white, that's where the power wash was. Power wash was here. So when I spray painted over it, the red couldn't touch that area. It couldn't touch these little areas where you see the little white little splotches. Okay. And again, I left this area open because this is where my decal is going to go. But I'm creating this for a Valentine. So I thought red and white would be perfect because my decal has a bunch of different colors, but mainly black and red. So I'm going to be putting that in the center right here. And I'm actually going to finish the process with you guys. It's a little bit difficult for me to do the power wash and the painting with you on site because you have to wash the power wash off really quickly. And so because I don't have a water hose, you know, it's like going in the kitchen, going back. I just figured it'll be easier just to explain it to you. And then once I'm done with this process, I'm going to put the decal on. I'm going to be putting epoxy on top of it. Now I'm going to use printable vinyl for my decal. I just tend to like the printable vinyl better. This requires just an inkjet printer. It's not sublimation. This is not a sublimation product. So nothing sublimatable here. But I am going to, let's see if I open this window, if it'll work. All right, so I got that window open. I'm gonna see if I can do this because I have a sink right there, just so you can kind of see how the power wash works. So, and I'm only gonna do just this little bottom, just to give you a feel. And so I'm not gonna be using much, but I would just put the power wash on it like that. I just put the power wash on, and then you just take your paint and you put it where the power wash is. And now I'm just going to wash this off so you can see what it's going to look like. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, and just quick. There you go. So you can kind of see that it's going to pick up wherever the power wash, it's going to, the red hit the spots wherever the power wash wasn't. Okay, so even though you saw me spray red all over that, it only got the red in the areas where the power wash wasn't. Okay, so that's how you can get that nice little, funky design. Okay, all right, so now that we got that, I am going to let this finish drying. And while this is drying, I'm going to take you over and we're going to get our decal ready to place on here. So I'm going to put that down, let it dry. And I may get my little fan to make it faster, but whatever color paint you would like to use, this is the Rust-o-leum Colonial Red Power Wash. Got this at Walmart. Got this at Walmart, I believe. Yeah, Walmart and Walmart, both at Walmart. And you can use multiple colors. So like if you wanted to go in with red and some other color, you can totally do that. Just take and put your power wash, in these white areas, and then spray paint it whatever other color you want to use. Okay. So you can use more than one color. I just wanted to go with red since I'm trying to keep it in the Valentine, family. So I will be right with you. I'm going to bring you up where you can see my screen. Alrighty. So I am going to show you, I'm inside Cricut Design Space. I'm going to upload the image here. I have a blank canvas. I'm just going to choose upload. And I already have the image uploaded to Cricut Design Space. So I'm just going to select it here. And on the bottom right, select Insert Images. And it comes in at 2.743 for the width, you can see here. And the height is 4.796. So I think I'm going to stick with that because I initially wanted it a little bit wider than 2 inches. So I think this may work for my design. Maybe I'll take it down to like 2.5. And when you leave your width and height proportion, when you leave this locked, this will automatically, if you change either the width or the height, it will automatically adjust the other to make sure that it's height and width proportionate. So I'm going to leave this, I'm going to put this at 2.5, and you're going to notice the height is going to change. Okay, so it went to 4.371, which is fine with me. All right, but if you unlock this by clicking it one time, and then you change the width, it's not going to do anything with the height. So you don't know if you have it height and width proportionate or not. So that's why it's always good if you're not really sure, because you don't want it to be, I'm going to show you when you can tell that it's skewed. So I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to go here. If I just drag this out like this, then it may look funky. So like if I take and I unlock the proportions here, it will allow me to drag this wider. So you can see here the difference. That one is thin and this one looked like, it stayed too long for Christmas dinner. Okay, so that's how you can tell that something is not height and width proportionate. So if I take this one and make it smaller, put them right next to each other, I'm going to show you what I mean so you can see it better. So if I drag it out this way, you can see that's totally distorted. That's not the way it should look. If that's the look you're going for, all fine and dandy, but it's not height and width proportionate. However, this one is. Okay, so this is what happens when you unlock the proportions by clicking it one time and then dragging this. When you're dragging it around, you may stretch it out of shape, as you can see here. So it's always best to leave your lock on when you're working with your images to make sure that they stay proportionate height and width wise. All right, so I have my decal here. And again, I'm going to be using printable vinyl. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Make It. And when I get to the next screen, I don't need to mirror or anything like that because this is just going to be something that I'm going to cut out and place onto my bottle, 12-ounce bottle. So you won't change anything over here. And we're going to go ahead and hit Continue. And this is going to go to our printer first. So I'm going to go ahead and load my paper in my printer, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to click on Send to Printer, and I like to choose the best option for the printer. So I'm going to remove this bleed as I don't need the extra ink. And then I'm going to move this gauge over to the right to use the system dialog, which is basically the dialog settings for my printer, for my HP. And I'm going to click on Print. And I'm going to adjust this to my HP printer. And I'm going to choose Preferences, and I'm going to select Best because I want the best print quality. So I'm going to come down to Print Quality and change that to Best and hit OK. And that's the only thing I'm going to select. I don't need to change the paper type or anything, and I'm going to select Print. All right, so that's printing now. And it's going through the process. So while that's printing, I'm going to go ahead and come back on camera so you can see from this point. All right, so this is the printable vinyl. And what I like about the printable vinyl is that you don't have to worry about it getting wet. If it gets wet, you don't have to worry about the ink running or anything like that. So you guys can see I use the best quality. So the colors are very, very nice. So what I'm going to do, and this just says to the one that I love on the bottom on that little sign there. So I'm going to put this, and when you use printable vinyl, it has the Cricut logo on the back. Hopefully you guys can see that. So you'll put it in your printer with the Cricut logo up and the clear blank side facing down, okay? That way when it goes through your machine, it's going to come out on the right side. So this black line is your registration area so that your Cricut machine or your cutting machine, whichever one you're using, knows where to actually pick up the cut for this image. So instead of me cutting this out, I'm going to go ahead and put it in my Cricut Maker and have my Cricut Maker to cut it out for me. So let me get a mat here. Hold on. So I'm going to be using my green mat here. And what you're going to do is we're just going to place this on our mat, and you want to place it in the same position that the Cricut or your cutting machine, Cricut Design Space tells you to place it in, which is portrait. This one is portrait. If I were to put this landscape, it will tell me that it can't recognize the cut marks. So you want to make sure whatever direction your Cricut tells you to place the image, you want to make sure that's the direction you place it. So like if I would have taken this and put the head this way and the bottom that way, Cricut will not be able to cut it. So you have to make sure the image that you see in Cricut Design Space, that's the direction you follow when you place it on your mat. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. And hopefully y'all didn't catch my kitchen back there because it's a mess. All right, so I'm going to go back to Cricut right quick. And I just use medium cardstock, guys. And I leave it on the default pressure. So the light is flashing. And so I'm going to press that light. And then I'm going to hit the Cricut logo when it's ready. The little C. And again, I'm using my Cricut Maker. So y'all see my little kitchen sticking out back there? Don't tell nobody, okay? So what Cricut Maker is doing now is it's trying to find that registration, that black line, so that it knows where to cut my image at. And I'm just using the regular fine point blade. There's no reason to go out and purchase any additional blade. The fine point blade works perfectly fine for this. If you're using your Explorer or Explorer Air 2, that's just the blade that comes with the machine. All right. Now it has identified where the cut marks are. It's going to go in and cut it for us. So I'll move back so you can kind of see here. And just like that, we have it cut out for us. So what I'm going to do now is, you see when I pull that off, it cut it all the way out for me, which is what I wanted. And there is my image there. So I took my bottle and I put it in front of the fan so it could kind of blow it dry. So I'm going to grab my my bottle. Give me 1 second. All right, so I have my bottle here, and there's the design where you can see it carries over to the bottom. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And I think it's going to be beautiful with my little decal. So when you're taking your image off of your mat, roll your mat instead of rolling your image. And that way you can keep your image from being curved up. Just roll your mat backwards. So you see how that came out nice and straight and not all curved up. And the other thing I want to tell you guys is never get too busy to put that piece of plastic back on your mat. I know a lot of times you get people that say, how do I clean my mat? When you take your mat out of the plastic and you have this covering, the best thing to do is to always, once you're done with your mat, is to put this covering back on top of your mat. Don't trash this. It's not trash. It's to keep your mat reusable and sticky without all the stuff that it can pick up. You know, here in Texas, dust is bad. So you can pick up little dust and, you know, hair, cat hair, dog hair, anything if this thing is not covered, okay? So you want to make sure that you always put that cover back on top when you're not using it. And then I have mine hanging up on the wall. You guys can see it. All of my mats are hanging up on the wall, so I'm just going to place this back up. And that way you can have a little bit longevity when it comes to your mat, okay? All right, so with your printable vinyl, you have a backing that you have to pull off. And normally I have my little weeding tool to help me because I am not good with pulling these backings off. And you don't need your transfer tape or anything like that because you're just going to take the backing off and then you're going to stick this where you want it on your cup or your item, wherever you're going to place it. So you see this looks small, guys, but when you take into consideration the area or the amount of area that you're going to be working with, which is just this area right in here, you want to make sure that you don't have it where it's going all the way over your bottle and it won't lay properly. So I'm going to go ahead and place this down. So I want to get it just right because I don't want to have to lift it up once I get it on. And I'm pressing from the inside to the outside. Okay, so from the inside to the outside, not from the outside in. And there we have our little decal on there. Okay. Now, you could take this and you can add anything else that you wanted to add on here. You can put some little hearts, anything else. You could put a name on the back, if you so choose to put a name back there, because you do have enough space to put a name there. And you know what? I may actually print out another decal. It may be too close. It may be a little bit too close, because as I look at this, I want to have more of the design itself and then the decal in the middle like that. So I'm thinking that I'm just going to leave this like this. And now I'm going to go in and put epoxy on top of it. So I'm going to be putting epoxy all over this. And I use as you guys know, I use the Amazing Clear Cast. And I have just enough left in here for me to finish this out, and then I can throw this box away. So I have enough in here. Now, on my spinner, the Nerf football is too big, of course, to fit inside here. So I won't be able to use my Nerf football. But what I will do is get a rag, and I'll put that rag, like a little small rag, I'll wrap it around here until I get enough thickness to where I can insert this in here and that it will sit, I'll actually wrap it around this one, but I'll wrap the rag around here so that when I place this on, it'll fit in there nicely and just, rest. You don't want to put this on there by itself. I'm going to show you why. Let me plug this up. Hold on one second. I don't want my little backside showing here. So, and I'm going to show you the printable vinyl too, guys. So in the store, there's two types of printable vinyl that I want to tell you about. So if you have an inkjet printer, you always want to look for the printable vinyl that has this little pink and white little notepad on it. There's also one, this is for the inkjet printer. But if you have an inkjet printer, this is the printable vinyl you want to use. If you get the one that has the little green and white polka dot design on it, it's not going to work in your inkjet printer because it's for laser printers. So if you've ever bought it by accident and you thought it was just the paper itself, it's not. The one that has the green and white on the front of it is for laser printers. And this one that has the pink and white on it is for your inkjet printers. Okay. So I put that out there to make sure you're aware, because I like to keep my group informed. Because what will happen is if you get the one for laser jet printers and you put it in your inkjet printer, it's not going to go in because it's too thick. Okay. So you may not think it is, but when you try to put it in, it's not going to work. So I just want to put that out there to make sure you get the proper paper. And about the spinner, the reason you want to make sure this is sitting nice and comfortably on here, if you just put it on there by itself, it's kind of like wonky. So it's spinning, but it's like not spinning nice and smooth like it should. And you want to keep take into consideration that epoxy, you want the epoxy to self-level and you don't want this moving, because what's going to happen, since it's not sitting on there securely, because I don't have anything to hold it firmly, it's going to keep spinning, but it's going to slowly rotate down until it falls off. Okay, so you want to make sure you put something on here that's going to actually hold it in place for you while it's on here, spinning around. But yeah, that's it. I think this is going to turn out nicely. So I'm going to go ahead. Hopefully you guys can see that good. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to mix my epoxy. And if you want to know how to mix this epoxy, if you decide to use it, I bought this at Hobby Lobby, and I'll put a link in the description for you. But I bought it at Hobby Lobby. You can use any epoxy that you so choose, clear cast, what have you. There's plenty of ones out there that they say are more safe. I haven't tried them, so I'm not going to say they are or aren't. But you mix equal parts of part A and part B. And for this, I'm probably only going to use about maybe 15 or so cc's, maybe 20, 10 and 10, and so that I can cover the whole thing and get it nice and coated. I'm only going to do one coat. I'm not going to do multiple coats because there's no reason. I've already placed my decal on there, so I don't need to put the epoxy on, then put the decal, and then put another coat to protect the decal. So you can do it either way. You can put epoxy on here, then put your decal once it dries, and then put another layer of epoxy, or you can put your decal on and then put the epoxy on top. It's really up to you. But I'm just, all right, guys, I decided that I'm going to add a little bit of vinyl to the side right here. So I'm going to put heart right there to kind of bring out a little color besides the red. And so I'm just using a plain Cricut blue vinyl that I had Cricut to cut out for me. And now I'm just using my weeding tool to pull out the inner areas. I just jumped back on to show you this right quick because I know I don't want you to see the finished product and say, where did the blue come from? So I wanted to come on and just tell you that I am using a little bit of vinyl on here. I started to do it in black because the little gnome is in black, but the blue I think is going to be really pretty. So I'm just taking out the center part that I don't need. So you can see here, now I have the opening to my heart. I'm going to go ahead and take out the remaining little pieces here. And some reason, or I don't know how I did it, but I've bent my weeding tool a little bit on the tip, so it doesn't always cooperate with me, and I'm not always happy about that. So I may have to invest in another one of these. Thank God they sell them individually, so I don't have to buy a whole set of something just to get this tool. So now you can see the H, the E, and the A I have pulled up. And I'm going to go back in and get the R. There's a little piece on the tip. And then the other heart. All right, make sure we got everything. So the word heart with heart on both sides. And so now I'm going to take a little bit of transfer tape, and I'm going to hope for the best on this because I don't want the transfer tape. This is just Cricut brand, just the, this is the strong grip, and I really don't need a lot. So I'm just going to cut off a little piece to get me started here with my word heart. So I don't need it hanging all over my cup because you don't want it to pull up your paint. And normally I would let my paint dry good and complete before I would do this. But we're going to see what happens and hope for the best. So now I have my transfer tape on top. Hold on one second. All right. So now I have the transfer tape on top of the vinyl. I've weeded out. Always make sure you've taken out any little areas in there that are supposed to be removed. And then I just take my weeding tool and just so you can see this, let me pull this down so you can see. Just take my weeding tool and go over the letters like that because you want to transfer the vinyl from the Cricut paper backing to your transfer tape. And this probably won't take a lot because like I said, this is the strong grip. So this is trash. This is just a Cricut paper where the vinyl came from. And now I have the heart on my transfer tape. So this will allow me to be able to transfer it over to my canister, or to my bottle. You want to call this thing some kind of canister. I don't know what's going on with me today. All right, so I'm just going to lay it down. And I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure because I don't want to mess up the paint. But I just want to be able to kind of transfer it. If I can get it started, then I'm good to go from there. So I'm just kind of pressing around where the actual letters are, because that's what I want to pull up, not the other. So if I get it started, then I'm kind of good from there. But I don't want my paint to pill up, so I might have to press down just a little bit where the letters are. But I'm not just pressing where the transfer tape is, where there's no letters. I'm just pressing where the letters are. I'm just going around where the letters are. My L is being a little finicky, so I want you guys to be able to see. And I'm just pulling up the transfer tape. Being careful because I don't want to peel my paint off. So that's why I said I really like to wait until this has had time to dry a little bit better. And it's peeled up just a couple of little specks, but nothing major. And because so I got one little area that's being really funky. So this was a little bit more difficult than, so you can see where I got the heart so far. I'm trying to keep it from pulling up my paint on this T, and then the T is trying to come up. So I'm having to be extra careful that I don't ruin my T and all the other parts here on the end. So I kind of just use my fingernail to try to hold down everything, and my weeding tool. So the little corner of my T is like stuck. Okay. Almost home free. And where it pulled up just little specks of the paint is not going to be a deal breaker for me. I'm just trying to make sure I don't lose my words. And keep it from pulling up some of my paint. It got a little bit of it, but not much. So now I just want to make sure I got my letters down nice and pretty without any bubbles. So I'm just pressing so you guys can see that. All right, so I'm done. I'm not going to do anything else but put my, so I have my decal over there, and then I have my heart with the two little hearts on the end. And then I'm going to, again, layer this with just a towel so that I can fit it on there where it stays stable. I want to place the epoxy on, and this time for real, when I come back, I'll have the finished product so you can see it. All right. So this is using the red and white Rust-o-leum. It's actually colonial red and then white Rust-o-leum paints. So I spray painted the stainless steel canister, all white. You can see I got white on my hands. And then I went in, I used the power wash and spray painted. I keep saying spray painted. Put the power wash everywhere that I wanted to spray so I can create a design. And then once I got the power wash on, then I spray painted it with the colonial red. And then I washed off the power wash, and that's how I got the nice design on here. Okay. And so don't forget your bottom. And so when in Cricut Design Space, you saw me do the decals. I got these images online. This one I had to pay for, but this is just vinyl that I got out of Cricut Design Space. So I did this from using images in Cricut Design Space. I searched for Valentine's and this came up. So I took this from Cricut Design Space. And yeah, just used regular old vinyl. And like I said, excuse me, if you want to use vinyl in a situation like this, make sure this is dried. And mine still, even though it's dry to the touch, it still has some little layers that, were a little bit not as dry as they needed to be. So it filled up just a little bit of paint, but it's not going to make a difference because this has a unique design on it so that you can't really tell. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this ready for epoxy. And when I come back, I will show you the finished product with the epoxy already on here. All right. All right. I will see you for real, and I won't add anything else, I promise. But epoxy. Hey guys, I have completed the 12-ounce bottle that I was working on, the push top bottle. So I wanted to come on and share that with you. So you can see there's the heart, the word heart with the 2 hearts on the end. And then you have the effects from the power wash with the red and the white, which turned out absolutely amazing. And that's the gnome that says "to the one I love." You guys can see that. And I even decorated the bottom, remember? And we have the epoxy on the bottom. And so, yeah, it is done. I only did 1 coat of epoxy, like I said I was going to do. So, again, you can do the power wash method and then epoxy, then put your decals on. This is printable vinyl, and this is just permanent vinyl. And so you can do the power wash, paint your bottle first, and then put the epoxy on, and then let it dry, and then go in and put your decals. But remember when I was putting the word heart on here, a little bit of the paint came off, and actually right here. But because this is red and white and we had that design going on, you don't even notice that that was effect from the paint coming off. Like if you look at that really clearly, it just blends in with everything else. Like right there, it got a little bit, but it's not something that will make or break the can or the bottle because of the red and white technique. So that's just up to you. I could have also went back in and just kind of put a little bit of red acrylic paint right there, but it wasn't that big of an issue for me, because like I said, it's red and white. You can't see it. You can't, it doesn't seem like paint came off when I was putting the heart on there. Or you can do like I did, and you can spray paint it, apply your decals, then put your epoxy, and you can do 1 or 2 coats of epoxy. It's clearly up to you and how you want to do it. But if there was anything in the process that I wasn't clear on, guys, please feel free to reach out and ask. You can use the comments. You can also email me at kendors48@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. So I just wanted to come on and finish out this process with you guys using the Power Wash, Dawn, Dawn Power Wash, and also, you know, just making sure that you get a chance to see the finished product. So this has not completed curing. Epoxy takes about 24 hours to cure. So even though I can touch this and all that good stuff because it's dry enough to do so, it is not recommended that you use it right now. So what I'm going to do is just sit this, you know, to the side and let it continue to cure. And I finish the process. And like I said, always make sure you clean the lids because you do sometimes get a little bit of the product here. So I'm going to clean the lid and everything and make that all nice and pretty. I'm going to make that all nice and pretty. I normally use a little bit of mineral spirits. I talked about that in my previous video. And I think I got it from the craft store. But I use a little bit of mineral spirits to clean up the top, you know, and when it's safe to wash, then I'll put a little, you know, soap and water around there to remove the mineral spirits. But that's just to get any of the product that may have gotten there. But there's no clumps or anything of like that of epoxy because when I'm doing the process, I normally go with my finger downward like that so that I can get the epoxy to come away from the lip of the bottle instead of going this way where you're forcing the epoxy to go inside. So it's always better to go downward instead of upward. And when you're going downward, you're also having the epoxy go to the bottom of the rim, and then you can use that extra epoxy that's coming off from you coming down like this. You can use that to put on the bottom of your bottle. So you can see that the bottom is nice and epoxied and shiny. So yeah, it turned out really nicely. I'm in love. I'm in love, y'all. I'm so stupid. But anyway, that is it. If you have any questions, like I said, you can use comments to ask your question. To ask your questions. It's time for me to go to bed. To ask your questions, you can also email me at candoris48@gmail.com. And anyone knows that has been following me for a while, I do answer questions as quickly as possible so I don't leave you hanging out there in limbo. Okay. But if you're currently subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you so much for subscribing. I will be doing a giveaway this month because I have hit 2,000 subscribers and I'm excited about that. So I will be doing a giveaway on my channel. And I'm just trying to decide what's the best gift to give away. So stay tuned for that. And if you're currently not subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And if you're currently one of my Facebook group members, under my group, Doris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, yes, then thank you guys so much for being members of my group. If you would like to join us, because we have an awesome group that is all about helping and educating the other crafters and learning themselves as well, because I'm still learning. Yep, 6 years later, but I'm willing to share what I know. So if you would like to join my Facebook group, you can send me a Facebook group request to Doris's Cricut and Creative Crafters. Doris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, and I will go ahead and add you to the group as well. And right now we have a competition going on in my group, which is designing coasters. So you have to design a set of coasters, and the set is going to be 4 coasters, and it has to be the theme of Black history. So colors, images, you can use whatever you like in the Facebook group competition, and it's for the month of February. And so the group will vote, and then the winner will be announced March 1st or 2nd, somewhere around there. But yeah, they have to be 4 coasters that you have crafted. So don't be taking nobody else's work and claiming it's yours. I'm so dumb. All right, guys. Well, that is it. I just wanted to come on and do the finishing or reveal with you guys on the bottle here. I got this bottle from the Stainless Depot, and they are really quick when it comes to shipping. Like I said, when I ordered from them the last 2 times, I ordered that week and I got it that same week. So the wine decanter set that you saw me decorate, that was white, and I did it in the black metallic. I didn't say gold, black metallic, black and metallic. I ordered it for 2 other people that won competitions in my group the previous month, and I ordered those wine decanter sets, and they got them just like that. Took no time. I think the only delay on the second one was that they had only had stainless steel, and she wanted white, but they got them in pretty quickly. And as soon as they got them in, they notified me that they had them in, and she had them that same week. So Stainless Depot is awesome when it comes to shipping turnaround time. All right. All right, guys, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't want this video to be 2 hours long like my last video was an hour and almost 30 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. But when you're using epoxy and you have 3 things to epoxy, it is a lengthy process. Okay. And I'm so glad that a lot of you are enjoying the manual spinner with my box and my Nerf ball, my Nerf football, and the wooden or the plastic dowel. I'm so glad that people are enjoying that. As I think of little things, workarounds, and tips and tricks that I've used during my 6 years, I'm more than happy to share that information with you guys. All right, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and you guys know my motto is each one reach one so that each one can teach one. And you guys have an awesome, blessed day. All right, bye.